In a quiet little town, where mornings arrived softly and evenings lingered like half-finished thoughts, there lived an old man everyone called the Dream Collector. No one knew his real name, and no one ever asked. He seemed to belong to the streets themselves, walking slowly with a little brown suitcase swinging at his side. He hummed a tune that felt older than the town, older even than memory. Most people barely noticed him. Those who did often laughed, whispering, "There goes the old fool again, chasing dreams that don't exist." To them, he was harmless, strange, and easily dismissed. Life had taught them to value only what could be measured, sold, or proven. Dreams, in their eyes, were luxuries for children. But the children loved him. Whenever the Dream Collector passed, he would stop, bend slightly, and smile with eyes that seemed to carry entire lifetimes. "Have you lost a dream lately?" he would ask. "I can help you find it." The children would giggle, unsure if he was joking, but comforted all the same. There was something about his voice that made believing feel safe. One afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the leaves of the town park, a young woman named Mira saw him sitting alone on a bench. He had opened his suitcase, revealing several small glass jars, each carefully sealed. He was polishing them one by one with a soft cloth, as though they were precious heirlooms. Curiosity pulled Mira closer. "What's inside them?" she asked, nodding toward the jars. The old man looked up and smiled. "Dreams," he said gently. "Forgotten ones." Mira frowned. "Dreams? You mean memories?" "No," he replied, shaking his head. "Dreams that people once had, but gave up on when life became heavy." He lifted one jar toward the light. Inside, a tiny flicker glowed, warm and alive, like a firefly caught in glass. Mira felt something tighten in her chest. "This one," he said, "belonged to a boy who wanted to be a pilot. He traded it for fear." Mira laughed softly, trying to hide her unease. "That's a beautiful story," she said, "but you can't really collect dreams." The old man studied her for a long moment, his gaze kind but piercing. "Can't I?" he asked. "Then why does your heart feel so heavy?" The question struck deeper than she expected. Mira froze. She hadn't told anyone, but she knew the answer. Once, long ago, she had dreamed of being a painter. She had imagined colors spilling across canvases, her hands alive with purpose. Then responsibilities arrived, bills, expectations. She traded brushes for spreadsheets and told herself it was practical. "How did you know?" she whispered. He pointed to a small, empty jar resting beside the others. "Because your dream has been wandering alone for years," he said softly, "waiting for you to come back." That night, Mira couldn't sleep. The image of the glowing jars returned again and again, along with a dull ache she had learned to ignore. She realized how tired she was, not from work, but from pretending she didn't miss the life she once imagined. She thought about how often she had told herself she was too old, too busy, or too late, and how easily she had accepted that lie. The next morning, she went back to the park. The bench was empty. The Dream Collector was gone. Panic flickered through her chest until she noticed something resting where he had sat. A single glass jar. Inside it lay a folded note. She opened the jar with trembling hands and read the words written in careful ink. For Mira, because no dream truly dies. It just waits for someone brave enough to believe again. Inside, a faint light shimmered, soft and warm. Mira smiled through tears. That night, for the first time in years, she picked up a brush. The paint felt awkward at first, but familiar, like greeting an old friend. As colors spread across the canvas, something inside her finally breathed. Days turned into weeks. Mira painted in the evenings, then in the mornings, then whenever she could. Color returned to her world. The heaviness in her chest began to lift, replaced by a quiet joy she had forgotten was possible. Painting did not solve every problem, but it reminded her who she was beneath the roles she had learned to perform. Eventually, her work caught the attention of a local gallery. People praised her talent, but what moved her most was not the applause. It was the feeling of alignment, the sense that her life finally belonged to her again. When asked what inspired her return to art, she smiled and said, "An old man who collected dreams and gave me mine back." As her story spread, others in the town began to look inward. A teacher remembered her desire to write. A mechanic recalled his love for music. The town did not change overnight, but something subtle shifted. People spoke more gently to themselves. They listened more closely to the quiet longing inside their hearts. Years later, children still spoke of a gentle man who once walked the streets with jars of light in his hands. Some said he disappeared into the stars. Others believed he was still around, leaving jars wherever someone forgot how to dream. Perhaps he never needed a name because his purpose was never about being known. What mattered was the reminder he left behind. Dreams do not die, they wait. They wait patiently through fear, through failure, through the years when survival feels more important than meaning. They wait for the moment you are ready to listen again. And when you do, they glow softly, reminding you that it is never too late to return to yourself. If you listen closely, you might hear them now. In the quiet moments, in the pauses between obligations, in the ache you cannot quite explain. That is not regret, it is recognition. It is the part of you that remembers who you were before the world taught you to be careful. The dream collector's gift was never the jars themselves, but the courage he quietly handed back to those willing to receive it. So ask yourself, gently and without judgment, what dream you placed on a shelf long ago. Not to criticize the choice you made, but to honor the hope that once lived there. Life may have demanded practicality, but it never demanded the death of your dreams. They are not gone, they are simply waiting for your permission to come home. And when you are ready, even in the smallest way, take one step toward it, a single brushstroke, a single note, a single brave decision. That is how belief returns, quietly, patiently, like light inside a jar. This story is not about magic or miracles. It is about memory and choice. It is about understanding that the voice you silenced was never wrong, only interrupted. Somewhere nearby, a jar may already be waiting, glowing softly, ready to be opened the moment you decide to believe again. That moment can be now. Not perfect, not fearless, just honest. And that is enough, because every dream remembers you, even when you forget it. And it will wait, glowing, until you return. This is your invitation to remember. What dream will you choose to reclaim today? The answer has been waiting all along. Listen closely and begin now. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring English stories only on English Life Tales.